Hello and welcome to DCP Live episode number 292. Very special episode. Welcome back to the show, Morla, aka voice actor of Eris Morn.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's great
It's
to
good to
see you. Great to
see
have you
y'all.
back on the show. We were just
we're so happy to have you back.
we were just talking about how
Yeah.
is this the third time?
The third one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Third
and I
episode,
was
yeah.
saying how I want y'all to do like a 5-timers club like on Saturday Night Live, and
Yes.
I want to get to the 5-timers club.
Do we need to get like a
What
golden
happens?
golden
It's like-
microphone or
yeah,
something?
Tom Hanks shows up. What happened?
Oof, that's gonna be a tough pull for the DCP podcast.
No, it just happened. It's automatic. It
He
just happened.
stumbles into a Discord channel.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. Like, oh, Mr. Hanks. But instead we get Chet Hanks. So
Instead we get what?
Chet Hanks.
Chet Hanks.
He's
So funny.
notorious problem
He's a very
child
good
of
guy.
Tom Hanks.
You said Chet, and I was just immediately thinking the cat that we were talking about in the pre-show. His name is Chet. So I was
Oh.
like, "How did
Oh.
you know?
How
The-
did you know?
Gonna
The
show up.
neighborhood cat that steals food?
My cat. He adopted us. It's a
Oh,
stray
okay,
cat.
okay,
He
yeah.
adopted us. So his name is Chet.
No, so
Chat.
your
we
your
haven't
cat
named
shows
the
up
other cat.
when you
My
get
cat-
5. He just shows up.
That's nice too. It's very sweet. Very
Morla, I'm really glad you're here because I've been having these weird dreams, right?
Oh
I
no!
feel
How
like-
do you?
Nobody ever listens to what I say. Like I feel like just a piece of meat. Like nobody respects me or my opinions.
Strange.
That's
I
bad.
just feel
I'm sorry to hear
Yeah,
that.
it's
Would
really
you
been
like to
hard.
tell me? You should tell me.
No, yeah,
I would like
actually,
to,
I gotta
honestly,
say
no, straight in all
also,
seriousness, I want to hear about your dreams.
well, just
What?
I've been having a problem too. It's like I've been thinking, like I've been waking up in a cold sweat, and like in this dream, I go to the tower, I fly in, and I walk over to the wall where it shows all your loot and all that, and it's empty.
Yeah.
It's 0 out of 600,
Is
and
this
then
like a
as-
reoccurring dream?
a reoccurring dream.
Or-
Right before I wake up, I'm I'm screaming, and then I wake up essentially.
Oh,
so-
that does sound like a nightmare. That sounds like
It
a
is.
nightmare.
It's a horrendous nightmare. My
That's awful.
broken traveler's
worse
promise is
nightmare
gone.
than
I wanna
Briar
hear
being
what-
eaten. So that's good.
Oh,
Nah,
yeah.
it's not
that
worse than that.
sounds
No.
Definitely not
really
worse than that.
awful. I mean, how does that dream make you feel? Like being eaten? Like cannibalism? Like what? Like what? How does it make you feel? Like what is it? What does it bring up for you?
Yeah. How does that make you feel, Briar?
How's it make you feel?
No, for me, it makes
Yeah.
me feel like Tefty doesn't know how to do any organization, and that like all my podcast hosts want to eat me.
That's strange.
That's deep.
Yeah, that's how it
a
makes me feel.
really-
That's-
a really deep kind of dream. Like well, I mean, reoccurring dreams, they're usually like indicative of something pervasive in your life. And, I think it's, I think it just says a lot. I think you're brave to come forward and talk about it today. And
Sounds like a Briar problem, really. The whole getting eaten.
Tefty, and so Tefty, you have dreams as well. And
That's weird.
yeah.
I have dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
You-
dreams where I.
Oh, yeah.
It's a recurring one where I get on the show and Briar's covered in sauce, and I don't really know what it means. It's
Oh.
tasty but disturbing, and
What type of sauce is
I
that?
don't know how to process it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Like
barbecue,
also-
sometimes Szechuan.
I appreciate you all coming to me and talking to me about your dreams, but I gotta ask, like, do you ever wonder if, like, I have dreams? Because I have dreams too. Like I had this dream that I came to the podcast and there was like tacos just like being assaulted at me and like there was like vomiting and I was like I can't get it, and there was like
Morla,
falling off the
this dream
chairs and I was
just
just like,
sounds insufferable. Can we move on, please?
Insufferable dream.
This dream makes you sound like Pope Bear, which
Yeah.
is extra insufferable.
Nope. It's a hard pass.
Insufferable.
Insufferable.
and this concludes the bit portion of the podcast. For all
Which
of you
is
who are
hilarious.
confused,
I promise.
who are
It-
confused and wondering what, you should have been here last time.
Yeah. Like, oh,
It's a throwback to
It's a
Oh.
throwback
before times.
to
The before times.
Insufferable.
I can't believe we didn't think of the baby birding. That's total nightmare
Morla-
material.
Morla doesn't
that
need
would have
to
been
know
nightmare
about that.
material. Baby
I don't
burning.
know about
That's
baby
true.
birding.
No,
Yeah,
Morla
my
doesn't need
bad.
to know about baby burning.
Yeah.
I don't.
My apologies.
I trust
Should've
you.
known.
I trust you, Odds. I trust you. I don't want to know. I don't
Seriously,
wanna know.
we are
Better
all
off.
super impressed by the work you've done so far this season
Thank
in
you so
Destiny.
much.
And
Absolutely.
honestly, for the last like 2 years, since like Eris came back. When did Eris came back? What season was that? It was
Beyond Light
called
was like the
Beyond
big
Light. Yeah.
comeback, right? Wasn't it? Was she
Shadowkeep.
Shadowkeep, the moon,
Correct.
obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, the moon.
Yeah, the original
Yeah.
nightmares showing up right there.
That was
Yeah, the
what a
original
year.
Nightmare.
The original Nightmares came out. Yeah, it's so good to be back. It's so lovely, and it's so nice to be amongst the nightmares again. I actually love them. They're really great. I love what they bring out in Eris, and I've been excited about this season for a long time. It's always very hard to keep it under wraps. And so I'm thrilled that it has been received the way that it has. So, hooray. Thank
It's-
you.
This season, you seem to have some meat on the bone, right? Like
Yeah.
some like real stuff
yeah.
to chew on as
Yes.
far as acting goes. Like with the stuff between Eris and Crow, like it really seems like there's some good stuff there. How's it been working on that stuff? Are you in the same room with that voice actor when you're doing that? Are you like remote when you're doing that?
We're all in our booths at the studio. You know, it works out. It always works out really nicely. But yeah, we
It
are
does.
we are not in the same space at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was great. It's all been very emotional, been like churning and stirring. I left every session just like very, very emotionally spent, which is
Yeah.
great. Which is great. I mean, that's like an actor's dream.
It is a
Absolutely.
really emotionally charged season, right? Because it's literally
Very.
about people dealing with their trauma. And
Yes.
Eris is kind of like the helping everyone through that. So
Mhm.
you've been experiencing kind of going through everyone's trauma, which
Yeah.
must have been a lot.
And what a beautiful way that Bungie has made this whole journey for Eris. I never know where she's going to go, what's next and what's in store for her. And I couldn't have even imagined this particular journey. And it makes so much sense. And it's so just right. Going from being not troubled, but tormented, or being like angry and like starting out at this place of madness. Like, I mean, that's how she was first described to me in the audition, is that she's on this edge of madness and we just don't know which way she's going to go. From that to Shadowkeep, like encountering her nightmares, her traumas, and dealing with them and facing them directly, and now into this place of helping others do the same. I mean, like, wow, talk about a gorgeous mental health journey.
It is. It really is.
It's really
Absolutely.
profound. Yeah.
Yeah, I've really
It's too bad
appreciated
Crow's
the
behind
season.
beyond help, isn't it?
He got help today. Well, not today. He got help this week, Briar,
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah, he did.
That's what he wants you to think.
But it's really emotional seeing Crow's journey as well, and being involved with Eris, because he's kind of gone from like this bad guy to then feeling very bad about being this bad guy, and Eris has been helping him through that. And there was a line at the end of this week's story mission where he said, "Guardian, I did it," and then he said, "Eris, I did it," and that was really emotional.
That was, yeah.
This whole lot of emotion involved this season.
Yeah.
It's I kid you not. And the writing is so beautiful. It's just, it makes it's all there immediately. It's the 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 script allows us to access it quickly. It's there's nothing hidden about it. There's no searching for some sort of um secret hidden kind of emotion buried deep within the it's like it's there, but it's not they just do such a great job of allowing us to act. I mean, I know this sounds weird, like the script allows us to act, but like there are scripts that do and there are scripts that don't, and
Yeah.
these do. Like there's so much that I feel like if I give into the script that I learned that there's more to give. Like there's even more to give. It's
Do you do you think that's a
yeah.
symptom of the fact that it's like spanned so many years? You know,
Mm,
because like
mm,
I'd imagine certain roles you kind of have a pretty fast arc with
mhm.
other games and all because you're playing this one character, other roles. Whereas like Eris,
Sure.
you're Eris for years,
Mhm.
and there's
Mhm.
there's obviously growth and evolution on that, but we're also kind of like in this like you know a little bit unfolds. They peel back a little bit more, a little bit here, and so you have more time to kind of ooze in and like soak everything up, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the wondering what the backstory is, like that whole portion
Mm.
of it. It's like, well, that work's done. We've lived that. We've lived
Hmm.
her backstory, and so or large chunks of it.
Yeah.
So, um, that is readily available. So yeah, I think, and there is that there is a deeper connection to that than if it's something, say, that I'm reading for the first time in a session. Of course,
Hmm.
Right.
she and it's and I feel like Eris and I have been on the same journey, kind of like through our emotions. Like when we showed up, we were kind of in the same place, and like it probably says a lot about me. But anyway, so oversharing,
Morla is
oversharing,
saying she's
and
Eris.
it's okay, it's okay, it's all right. But then like arriving at a place of confidence and arriving at a place of wholeness and being able to communicate that to other people in my life and um, give insights into um, well-being. It also feels like where I'm at too.
Hmm,
So
cool.
I don't
That's
know.
really
It's
interesting.
like how do they know? How does Bungie know?
That's amazing.
So one thing I've seen people really love this season is, which is something minor but kind of caught us all by surprise, is when we're doing an activity and we pick up the scythe to
Mm.
reap
Yeah.
these nightmares.
Oh
Eris
yeah.
does a crazy laugh, and we were all like,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
"Eris, you
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
What's
that
going
Well,
on?"
it doesn't
really
start off
that
like that, right? At
really
first, you start off by like saying like, "Oh, you're gonna reap the demons from beyond" or whatever. Like, and it's like this long, and then like eventually it just transitions to. It's so awesome.
It's
Switch
a
shut
great
up.
laugh.
Switch shut up. Yeah, it really I've been getting a lot of people commenting on that too. Like, oh yeah, that's where that went. Okay. Neat. That's cool. I like fun.
That's great.
Give a maniacal laugh. All right, here you go.
Yeah.
You're not gonna use that, are you? No? Oh, you are?
No.
Oh, okay. Have fun with it.
Uh,
And yeah, people are having fun with it, so it's Guardians seem to
In,
love
in
it.
the moment,
So
it sparks joy. Like it just
yeah.
sparks
It
this like
does.
zest for. It's like a bloodlust.
It reminds me of how people reacted to. Do you remember there was like at the respawn there was the Crota that Eris was like Crota every
Yeah.
time in the Dark Below. It reminded me of that. It's like, ugh, okay, great.
They
It's
do a really
memorable.
there's a
It's
really kind of
memorable.
good job with Eris where it's like she's great. She's helping people with the therapy stuff, helping
Yeah.
people through trauma, and you're like, is she being
She's still Eris.
She's still there's always kind of
Eris.
been this very cool on the line of, is she gonna continue being good and
Yeah.
on our side, or is she gonna just go
Mhm.
way off into the
The
deep end?
Mhm.
the edge
Because
of
she's
Yeah.
always
madness.
kinda there.
Yeah, I love that about her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that there's still that element of, but is this all for some other nefarious end game?
Yeah. Yeah, it's always been there with Eris. It's really
Mhm.
cool. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. I'm
that's
so
super
glad.
cool.
Yeah.
Since I think right before we talked to you, I think it was like right before the pandemic hit last time, right? Somewhere around there. I'm just
Yeah.
curious, how
Yeah.
has, voice acting life shifted? Has it made you have to invest more in your home studio, or have you, I don't know, curious about that aspect.
Yeah, that's true. We've lived many lives in
Yeah, pretty
our
much.
since last we
Yes.
spoke. We're all 40 years older, and yeah, it was very curious, like how things were going to go. A lot of Beyond Light, not a lot of, but there were at least 2 sessions from Beyond Light that I recorded from home, home studio. So, but they were great about providing us with everything that we needed to accomplish that. There was a lot of just like hustle, hurry up, make it happen, and it like came together beautifully. After that, yeah, there's I did a podcast for a while called For Vox's Sake, about how to build out your home studio, and brought in experts who
Awesome.
know about
Amazing.
microphone experts and engineers and yeah, so learned and it was a lot of that was because I needed to know it as well. It's like, well, I need to know, so I'm gonna, and so certainly other people do. So I was taking notes as I was interviewing for the podcast, and I actually I actually didn't like throw a whole lot of money at it. I knew that that was I just kept thinking like, this is temporary. This is temporary. I don't want to throw a
Yeah.
whole lot of money at a thing where we're going to go back into studios anyway. So what I did was I um just made this my working space, my audition space, more comfortable.
Hmm.
Took what I learned from the podcasts that I was hosting, and applied it without like really spending a whole lot of money on it. Like you were commenting on my Oralex panels, like that was something that I got during pandemic, which were great. And but I still pretty much use all my same tools. I think I just use them better and
Nice.
smarter. Um, One thing that I did relatively recently, actually, interestingly enough, is that I wanted my recording space was kind of small, so I decided to um, turn like this. I turned this whole space I can convert it into a recording space now.
Nice.
That's
So
awesome.
like if I have like performance capture, like callbacks and things like that,
Oh, cool.
I can be on camera in a way where it's not like right up in my face.
Little space to work
Because
with, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a fun. I had one audition where it was like, or one session actually, where it's like I was in my tiny space. They're like, well, we really want to see you as we're doing it. I'm like, oh no, like okay, like hi, like this has got to end. I've got to fix this. So I have some great people in my life who were able to help me out with that, and give me some pointers. I've got like Oralex all over my ceiling now, and
That's great.
so yeah, that's
Very cool.
things are as I had hoped, and as I knew that they would be eventually. Things are in studio, a lot in studio. So luckily, no one has to rely on me as being an engineer. You can have like an actual engineer be an engineer, as it should be, in my opinion. So that is very dedicated job that people have
Yeah.
that they. So I support engineers. I can't do what you do.
That's great. So like most stuff has returned back to getting the studio. Do you work with like a director or
Yeah.
a voice director or something like that for takes, or is that still digital
Oh
over
yeah,
Zoom or something?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times that part is still remote. So it'll be me
Mm-hmm.
in the studio, engineer on site, and then sometimes there'll be a VO director also in the space. But more often than not, there's just still a lot of people zooming in, getting direction that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
I had a question about so
Mhm.
we've heard before that Eris does not just voice Eris. Also, you've done many other things such as the wizards and you
Mhm.
are the hive,
Yes.
basically. If people don't know.
Yeah, a lot. And not all of it, but
You're
yes.
not
Yeah.
all of it.
Mhm.
A lot of it.
Yeah. Yes.
Was there any extra things that you did voice work wise in this current season?
Not in this season, but in Beyond Light, I was I'm not gonna be able to pronounce the name. Phylax. Phylax?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Wow, I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would have never guessed.
Yep.
That's super cool.
Wow.
Phylax and of course, Omnigul, but that's previous season.
Yeah.
So
The new Omnigul.
hmm?
Is it
The new
were
Omnigul?
you also because there was Omnigul and then they brought back the strike and it was what's the name of the wizard? It's there now. It's like supposed to be Omnigul,
New
but because we
Omnigul.
killed
Yeah.
Omnigul, they had to bring in like a new
Yeah.
Navoda.
Navoda. Yeah,
Navoda.
that's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they used the same or
Sounds very
yeah.
similar.
Probably.
I think they just had to change the name.
Maybe.
Like
I don't
Omnigul's technically dead, so
know. Yeah. But yeah, those are so just those. Just those
Cool.
What
so
else have you been
far.
working on
So
outside of
far.
Destiny?
Uh, let's see what's out that I can talk about. There's Moss 2 came out this year.
oh
Which is
yeah.
Ah,
a VR, lovely VR game from Polyarc, which is it's all done narration style. So I am as the narrator, but like when I'm reading to my son, I voice all the characters within it. So I do the same with that.
Very
And
Oh,
cool.
that's amazing.
it was also very, very emotional. Like everything I've been working on lately has just been like so emotional. Um, which again is great. And then no, nope. No,
oh.
that wasn't even an accidental slip. I don't even that's not even a reality. So I know what it sounded like I was gonna say. That wasn't even like Freudian at all. I did God of War. So God of War Ragnarok is coming out, and I am Bela in that.
Very
And that was
cool.
also
Wow.
great because I think that's actually all I can say is that I am Bela in God of War Ragnarok. I can't say anything else about that. But that's going to be exciting. And there's a lot of things coming up, y'all. There's a lot of really great things coming up, and I can't wait to tell you. But I can't say anything yet. I can't say it yet.
I swear, like every game I find out about, I'm like, oh, Morla's in that too. I'm like, I would have no idea. It's really amazing.
Yeah, this 2020 was slow, but 2021 and 2022 so far have really been making up for it. So it's
Cool.
good. Things feel
Good.
like back in the groove again, for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that was a weird. I mean, it was weird for everyone, but from a voice acting perspective, having things pause and then not being characters, and then get back in the swing of things.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's
I mean, for a lot of people who, have their booths set up and everything, they were already ready to go and they just like never missed a beat, which was great. I'm super happy that things kept going and that people were still able to continue working. Um, the things didn't just like shut down. People find a way, right? Like we
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
do with everything, like we all did with all of our jobs. We just like find a way to keep making it happen. It's amazing how inventive and creative people can be when they just like have to find a way.
Have to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Very cool.
Right.
Uh,
You're looking at.
Got some questions.
yeah, we have
I
some
can tell.
Twitter
I can tell.
questions.
There
I
was
had a
some
feeling.
really good ones.
There
There was
were
some
some
Yeah.
good
really
questions.
good
Like,
questions.
oh, check
That's
it
some really
out.
bad ones. Not to point anybody out. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Oh no, it was all the ones that referenced cannibalism and.
Yeah, those were particularly bad.
I love those.
I didn't understand. I'm like, that's awful. What? What's
That is
going on?
awful, isn't
And
it?
then I understand. Then I
And now it's
learned, like,
hilarious and great. Right? Yeah.
I I just happened to
oh.
watch Norm Macdonald's last thing they recorded. It was on Netflix, and he has a whole segment about cannibalism. And I wanted to snip it and send it. You know, but, yeah, you'll know it. If you watch
Holly
it.
Ants says, "Hello, crew." The fabulous actor Morla was wondering if Eris and the other notable guardians in the Destiny universe were to find music from our time. What do you think they would listen to?
Oh, what does Eris jam out to? Do you think?
100% no. It's Dead Can Dance. Thank you very much. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Dead Can Dance and what else? Bauhaus and Susie and the Banshees and yeah,
There you go.
that's it.
That's perfect.
On
Awesome.
rotation. Yeah.
Hey Blaze says, "Can Morla do impressions of any other Destiny character or enemy?"
Well, we know we can do the enemy. We maybe don't want to do it right now because it's just a lot of screaming.
Can I? Yes. Will I? No.
Mr. Goodbite says, "Just want to say I always enjoy hearing actor Morla in the game as she portrays Eris perfectly. Question is, what is your favorite role that you've ever played?"
Oh, I mean, like Eris is just it's like the crown jewel of my characters that I've played. There's just and it's not just the voice, but it's like the whole story of how I happened upon getting her and just all the serendip. It feels like the culmination of a life journey.
Yeah.
And Moss, the narrator in Moss, also very much feels that way as well. They feel like they simultaneously feel like they simultaneously feel like something that could have just as easily not happened, and they also feel like inevitabilities at the same time, which is, I know it's not possible, but it does. It's like I say this a lot on Twitter whenever something new comes out or whenever anybody like posts some sort of fan art, or I really do feel like the luckiest girl. I feel so fortunate, and will never ever not be grateful that Eris came into my life. Without Eris, I don't have the career that I have. I don't. Like, I'm not in Los Angeles. I'm not this. My life as I know it is not what it is without Eris.
Wow.
I'm getting emotional.
I think a lot of Destiny players will love that because I think we're like our community seems very connected to not just the characters but the people who voice them. Because
Mhm.
so many like Zavala, of course, is like very interactive with the Destiny community. You are like retweeting art all the time. So having you say that Eris is so important to you is like it gives the happy tingles because you're like Eris is so important to us. It's been such a long journey that we've been with this character.
Yeah.
This was the first character like we connected with, like who had more character than just like being kind of like a cop.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I didn't know, like I didn't know how she was going to be received. I remember being like really scared. Like, oh, like I remember at the time there was like a lot of, I was living in Seattle at the time, and I remember there was like a lot of doxing going on with people who worked at 343, and like,
Yeah.
because they like, you messed with my game and like you messed it up, and it's like some like minor change. And I remember thinking like, I'm this new character, and like Peter Dinklage is gone, and I'm coming in, and like I know they're I like I don't people could get really upset, and so I had no idea how it was going to be received, and I remember being like scared. And then I came to find out who the Destiny community is. I was like, oh, I didn't need to be scared at all. Like like the Destiny community is as much of my experience of my as much of my whole experience of Destiny as Eris is. Like what the community gives, and Eris, like it's like together. It's not less. It's I feel very connected to the community. I feel very inspired by the community. I feel like I am a part of the community.
Of course, yeah.
I don't play as much as I used to, but my son does. And so I feel like I'm kind of like a little bit of a retired guardian, but I'm a guardian mom now. So
Did we go full Eris on your son?
let me tell you, there's a one time I was asking him to do something. I was like, "Did you brush your teeth? Did you brush your teeth? Did you brush your-" And then he was just like kind of like not listening. And I was like, his name's Cole, and I said, "Cole, did you brush your teeth?" And he's like, "Don't be Eris Morn, because don't use Eris Morn voice on me." I'm like, I didn't realize that's what I'm doing.
That's
but
amazing.
Good to know.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I don't. Like, I make a point not to, because he was very upset about it. Don't do it. Okay.
Oh, that's amazing.
Unless I need to. But yeah.
Does your
No,
son
I
try to get
definitely-
information out of the future of what might be in store for Eris? Be like,
No,
what's
he's
happening?
like
Yeah?
he's really good about that. He doesn't he's very excited when it happens. He wants me to be there with him when he's experiencing the game. He knows he's really into lore right now. So he has the grimoire. He's reading the grimoire. He's like he would want to actually this is really sweet. I'm good. Can I out
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
He I forget what it was for exactly, but he got to see Watts on a Twitch. I think this was for Raid. Maybe it was for the Raid. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
I think
something else.
it was
It was
the
Raid?
I think it
Okay.
was the raid, yeah.
And he's like, who is she? I'm like, oh, that's Watts. He's like, she's amazing. I was like, well, okay, let's maybe, like, would you mind like having like a Zoom meeting with my son? She very, very, very,
Of
very
course.
graciously obliged. And I just like left them in the room to like, he had his headphones on, so I have no idea the conversation. I imagine he was just picking your brain about everything, kind of like trying to like flex his knowledge and pick your brain at the same time. That's what I guess would happen.
Absolutely adorable. Just so cute and so polite, and just really, yeah, it was just a lot of talking about Destiny and being excited about Destiny, and
cool.
yeah, it was great.
That's super cool.
It's really
I loved it.
interesting. It's really interesting. Yeah, and thank you again for that. It was like so sweet of you. Um, it's really interesting now, like starting to have like the games that I work on that he can participate in, and so it's becoming like this new experience now too. It's like same with Moss, he was very much a part of the character development process of that, which was very cool. So, yeah, so to answer your question, he doesn't ask ahead of time. But he
He's
definitely wants
respectful of the
my
story.
input when he wants my input when we're in there.
That's great.
I'm thinking like it must be really exciting to see because, like you said, you recorded that laugh. You didn't know where it was gonna go. So
Mhm.
if I was him, it's like that must be really exciting to play with your mom, who's the voice actor, and then you're playing and you just hear this laugh, and you're like, oh, that's where that went.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
He's he's very proud. He is very proud, which is sweet. But none of his friends play Destiny yet, so he's kind of like, yeah, but they're like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, oh, you will.
You will one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still a little young. He gets a pass because I worked on. He gets to go before he's 10. He gets to play before he's 10.
Nice.
Lord Beerus says, what was your favorite line to record in D1 or D2?
Oh, yeah, someone actually posted this recently, and I want to like hold on to I'll record the live like, oh, that's a really good one, but then it's like on to the next line, so I don't retain them. But somebody posted it recently, the one about the sunshine, as hatred as pure and as potent as sunshine. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah,
That's a really, really good one. I like that one.
It is.
that is a great one.
Yeah. And the one that everyone asks me to say is fingertips on the surface of my mind.
Oh yeah, that was a classic.
Classic. Yep.
That was a good one.
That is the
I enjoyed
classic.
it a lot. Yeah.
That's the chat is telling us that is from Scarlet Keep from the Strike. Scarlet
Scarlet Keep. Thank you, chat.
Keep. More knowledgeable than us. They should do a podcast.
Evan Powers says, is Morla familiar with the expression fair dinkum? And if not, can the DCP crew, without any help from Morla, Mylan, explain its meaning to her?
Fair dinkum. Fair dinkum. That's like, it's just like another way of saying like, oh, fair. Like, oh, okay, that's, I get like,
Yeah, like, oh,
like
fair
I
dinkum.
I get you. I get it, or something like that, right?
Oh, fair dinkum.
Something? Am I wrong? I'm sure
Well,
chat
that
will
sounds
tell
From
us.
thinking about what Mylan has talked about, I feel like it's almost synonymous with saying cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like, oh,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. Like you could say, I feel like that. And, you know,
yeah,
Aussies
but-
can roast me. Feel free, Aussies. But I feel like it's.
Like you're all wrong. It means run from the
Morla, have
giant
you ever heard of the
spider.
nut bush?
It does.
What?
The nut bush.
It's
It's
like
a dance they do in Australia.
like the Tina Turner song. What? No, I don't.
It is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah?
connected to that.
Yeah.
But
Like,
apparently,
really?
apparently it's a dance though. Have you ever
Gosh.
seen the Nutbush dance?
No.
So there's
Who's
a
gonna
dance.
demonstrate?
So-
Which one
so
of you is
we
gonna
don't
show
know
me?
it.
Mylan's
Yeah.
not here. Mylan's our Australian host. He's not here. But apparently they teach it. It's like square dancing in Australia, where they teach it in like primary school.
Yeah.
The Nutbush
To
dance.
the Nutbush song. They have
Yeah.
a Nutbush
Yeah.
dance.
It's called the
From
Nutbush
Tina
dance
Turner.
because it's always that
Yeah.
song. Yeah, that was our
Oh.
reaction too.
We've been getting a lot of Australian facts
Well,
lately.
Yeah.
Like
We've been
it.
really boning up on our Nutbush.
That's so random. But
It
I mean,
is, yeah,
it
wha-
feels right though, like because a lot of like it's like feels like things that
Feels-
I'm gonna like Australia's gonna kill me. Like it's kind of like random.
Well, okay. So here's the other
Yeah.
observation: is
Fair
that
dinkum.
it feels like Australians think like, yeah, of course, the nut bush. Like, how does people not know this? And then people outside of Australia kind of go, huh?
Sure. I mean,
And then the Aussies are like, but wait, you never
You don't learn the nut bush
you
when
don't
you're a
learn the nut
child.
bush? Yeah, it's like, this is crazy.
that's great. Yeah, sure. Well, yeah. I mean, being from New Orleans, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I take for granted. Like, yeah, what do you mean you don't eat a cake with a baby inside of it once a year? Everybody does that.
Sounds like a DCP thing.
Yeah. You don't? No.
Steel Shadow says, question for Morla, what's your favorite alien species in Destiny? Also, if possible, could you say Unleash Your Darkness, Nova 1 as Eris? Thanks for voicing an incredible character.
Favorite alien
favorite-
species?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of like saying favorites when it comes to Destiny because like I don't like to, because then it's gonna alienate.
You don't like
It's
to
gonna
pick on the Warlocks?
No. Yeah. I don't like to do favorites. I don't like to do favorites when it comes to Destiny things. It's all my favorite. No, that's lame. I know it's not on me, but I don't like to show favoritism about stuff when it comes to Destiny.
That's understandable.
Ace Dog 00 says, Morla, your Banshee scream still haunts me. Thank you for that.
Not a question, just a comment.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Compliment.
Thanks.
Statement.
I enjoy making all sorts of creature sounds. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
How
We
often?
got another not a question.
Wait,
Oh, I'm
hold
sorry, go
on.
ahead.
How often does that like? Do you get a request like that in the voice booth, in the vocal booth? Like,
To do creature
is that
sounds?
common? Yeah, or
I
is
do
it?
a lot of creature sounds.
Yeah?
That's like it's more and more it's becoming a thing that I do for
Like
for
neat
games.
creature
Yeah.
sounds? More or less.
Because
Perfect.
Yeah.
they heard the
yeah,
wizard
yeah.
from the moon and were like,
I do
That
some-
wizard came from the moon.
That wizard. It did. That wizard came from the moon. No doubt about it.
that's really cool. But is it like a specialty? Like, do people know like you specifically have great creature sounds? So they're like, let's
It's the
get more
thing
on
that
this?
I do. It's like I do creature sound. I do what is that? I'm a stalker in Left 4 Dead. And not Left 4 Dead. Not Left. Wait. Oh my gosh, my brain is
There is a stalker in
killing
Left 4 Dead.
me.
Stalker sounds.
Stalker sounds.
The Last of Us. The Last of Us 2. Oh my gosh.
Oh, those are very.
the
Yeah, actually, that makes a big
Yes.
difference. Those are creepy as hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
So
is very
I am-
frightening.
You're
Yeah.
like, wow, that's creepy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just got real for me.
No, I worked real hard on that.
Yeah, those are
I do
great.
zombies in The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. Yeah, I have some other creatures that are coming up and other things that I can't talk about yet.
Very
but
cool.
No, I love to. Oh, did anybody ever see remember Halo Waypoint, Mona Lisa? It was like a comic book, animated comic book thing that they had. I was the flood in that.
Very
Just
cool.
the flood.
I was
Wow.
I was also a character, but I was also the flood.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
I love it. I love doing creature sounds. I love
Do you prepare at
Mhm.
all for like a specific creature? Do they tell you ahead of time? Be like, I need something like,
yeah, I mean I have to
yeah.
audition for them. Like I have
Oh,
to
cool.
Yeah, there's like a whole audition process for different
Yeah.
creatures and Mhm.
That's so
So
How does
fascinating.
that work? Do
Wow.
they show you a picture of the creature and then
Sometimes, like, what do you think this character would sound like? Sometimes it's like, well, we want it to be kind of whispery and evil, or it's like we want a traditional witch, or we want a zombie, we want guttural, we want growly. Yeah, so I love
So
to
cool.
do that. Find
Well, now I need to know every creature sound that you do. Like when a game comes out, I need to know I'm this, this, and this. It's just so interesting. It's-
Yeah,
what
it's
a what
like
a power to have to be creatures that people go, oh, scary.
yeah, it's part of
amazing.
it is kind of like learning how to like do you know like the growls, like the metal growls is like
Yeah.
learning, like some of that is like learning how to do that kind of thing. Like I feel like I want to like demonstrate now. Like I could do this thing. Like there's like high pitched screechies, and you can like find crazy breaths with like, and yeah. So I also did like in
Mike is cutting out
the
on
TV
there.
show The Exorcist, and the mic's cut out.
Yeah, I
didn't
think
get
when
to
you
hear that
did
at
like a
all?
little, yeah, you did a little sound effect.
So it was just me with my mouth wide
Yeah.
open.
Yep.
Looked
Yep.
really cool.
It looked very cool. Discord will do that.
Cool.
Cuts
Yeah,
out
it's
all
the
the sounds.
Discord. Yeah.
Both good and bad. It's both good and bad.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. A friend of mine, Molly Daisy, she started a group called the LA Scream Team. And so it's like people who are specialized in that kind of extreme vocalization.
Wow.
And
Cool.
so,
Wow.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's amazing.
That is super cool.
It's
for-
really interesting.
For anyone not listening or who hasn't heard the previous episodes, you actually did a demonstration of the witch, or a wizard,
The Omnigul kind of
Omnigul wizard, and it
scream.
was like you'd think the amount of processing that it would be something completely different from the end result versus where it started, but it was so identifiable. It was like, oh my god, that's a Destiny wizard. Like it was amazing. So you're
That was
you're
episode
awesome.
158 from October 18th, 2019.
Is that the one where I
Amazing.
ducked down to do it?
Probably. Yeah. Just goes to show.
I become more
the talent.
brazen.
Amazing.
In the subsequent years, I'm like, let me just show y'all. We'll do it with my mouth wide open. You can't even hear it, but it'll look crazy. So it's a lot of growth. A lot of growth since then.
That is so cool.
Lego LaFlash, again, not a question, just a compliment. I don't have any questions. Just to say thank you to Morla for continuing to gift us with her voice in Destiny 2 with a passion for the community too. Amazing.
Thank you.
Aw.
I do love the community. I feel like my words were failing me a little bit earlier when I was trying to express, and I think that my words were failing me should be the testament about how I feel about it. Like it's hard for me to find the words to express how how much the community means to me, and how grateful I am for I try my best to like at least heart when people make comments or leave comments, and I try my best to read them all, because it means the world to me.
Very cool.
Ryan Dupras says, Morla, if you could add a story beat for Eris, what would it be?
Ooh.
I don't
Would you ever
know.
find the light again, etc.?
I don't know.
Just go ahead and write a quick
I
story.
kind of have a
Yeah.
got it. I do have a what would it be like? It's more of a musing, a wondering than like a burning desire, because Lord knows I would not want to pretend that I even have like any greater insight than the narrative team. But I wonder sometimes, like, what would it be like if Eris just went full on mad, just like when like if she's been for like what is like
Yeah.
what would it be like if she just went like
That would be a hell of a good season.
just like
That'd
fell
be a good
over
story season.
That
It
would
would
be.
be
fell over into the
being the witch, because now Eris is a witch.
yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I know. It's like she's doing like a seance and
Yeah.
everything.
That was fun. That was fun. I was super jealous of the performance capture Eris. Like, because we got to see it. I got to see it.
Oh
Like,
wow.
oh, I want to do that. I get to like kind of reenact it when I was doing the vocalization. Yeah.
Cool.
Mr. Macalito says, do you, Morla, have any daily routines that you do to keep your voice in optimal performance?
I for sure have a warm up that I do. I'd like to be able to say that I do it daily. I don't necessarily do it daily, but when I am doing it daily, I like to just like do like some, because I'm a big proponent of like full, like like your whole body is your instrument as a voice actor. So I like to do a full body warm up, like yoga, and like to try to be fit, to do some sort of fitness. Yoga is my preferred method. And when I'm kind of when I don't have a session and I'm just kind of expanding and playing with my voice, man, Dead Can Dance is making a second appearance in the podcast. I like to listen to Dead Can Dance, and Lisa Gerard, the female vocalist of that, the things that she can do with her voice are just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to try and recreate what she does, and then if I have the time, I like to try and recreate the sound of all the different instruments in
Very cool.
the pieces of music as well. And just like open up different like cavities in the brain, in the face, and like find out like what happens if I place my voice over here? Like, how does it resonate differently? Like, how specific, if I want my voice to really resonate, like right here, how can I do that? How can I make it so I can feel it resonate like right here? And then I'll like pick another like kind of random spot, like, okay, now I want it to be like here.
Hmm.
Or then I just get my head, my face, all of it just vibrating in different ways, and try to discover parts of my voice that I didn't even know existed before. I keep thinking like, well, I'm going to reach the end. Like there's going to be a point where like I understand everything my voice can do. And there really isn't. There really is like no end to it. It's like, oh, if it just keeps stretching and playing and believing that it's possible. Like, oh, there's like this whole other thing. Like, oh, I didn't know I could hear my voice right here. Wow, that's amazing. How's that possible? It's fun. It's just fun just to play with it. And then yeah, see how low. I like to see how low I can get my voice to go. And then see how high, and just try to just keep stretching that. Get it more and more and more. I want to be inaudible on both ends of the spectrum. That's my goal.
That's so interesting.
I know we've only got you for an hour. Can we do 3 more questions?
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
The Aloof Nerd says, with Eris calling herself a witch, laughing crazy at us killing illusions, and looking like a villain in the seasonal artwork, should we be worried about her? I love Eris, but I'm noticing some red flags.
It's like she's talking about. It's like always. I don't know. That's where she lives, in the I don't know. Could go either way, and I think I don't know. I think that's a great place to keep her. Like trust
She's
her.
only ever helped us, right? She's never done
It's true.
anything.
It's
that
that never
Nefarious.
know. It's just that never
Yeah.
know factor, and I think
Yeah,
that's part of what makes Eris Eris. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. It's been like that
Also,
since
the eye
when we
makeup.
first met her.
also the eye makeup.
Don't know if it's makeup, bro. I think it's
Whatever it is.
hive.
It's fabulous.
It's really become a trend, though. Have you all noticed how often it's showing up in popular culture ever
No.
since? It's like everywhere. It really is. I noticed. What was it in Death Stranding?
Oh
True.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The promos. Billie Eilish had a whole thing that
She
she
did.
did. I've seen it in like designer ads, like fashion magazines where there's like the dripping. I'm like, oh my god, y'all,
Eris made
stop,
that happen.
stop yanking my luck. My thing. Oh, there was what was it? There was something else that. Oh no, it wasn't drippy eyes, but it was. I saw a movie recently. Completely, it wasn't. It's not how I remember. But anyway, it was like it was Moonfall. Anybody
Okay, yeah.
see this?
Yeah.
It's You should watch it. It's terrible, but you should watch it
It is. Yeah.
because as Bungie fans, you could clearly see how these people are Bungie fans. It's like Halo and the moon is haunted, but in
Moon's-
like a kind of different
yeah.
way.
Moon's haunted.
They go inside
It's like
the
it's
moon.
haunted. It's not really haunted. But it's haunted. It sounds like Sky Lewin wrote the music. I mean, it's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. Like the planets, they have like planets in. I know this might be a spoiler, but whatever. Like inside the moon that are
Ooh, moon's hollow.
halos. They're actually
Oh.
terraformed. They got terraformed rings. I'm like, you mean halos?
Like the moon's haunted, there are halos in the moon.
Yeah.
Everything sounds fantastic about this. I don't understand how you can think this is a bad movie.
It felt like a movie
right.
that
It's
was
got
written.
5.2 out of 10.
It felt like it was written out of committee. Like 12 people got together and said, let's take all of the tropes of action movies from the past 20 years and smash them together.
And also,
Sounds perfect.
we love Bungie.
Yes. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
with the love for Bungie. Yeah.
It's a movie, not a video game. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be watching it tonight.
Yeah. Mhm.
Garrus76 asked, first I'd like to thank Morla for bringing so much character to Eris Morn. She's by far my favorite. As an actor, where do you find her pain? Do you draw from personal experiences? What do you do to prepare for a voice session?
Yeah, like at different times, different things. I think at the core, and the core pain of like going down to the pit was very, and I know y'all have heard me say this part before, so I'll say it briefly. But that initial pain of going back down into the pit was very reminiscent of me returning to New Orleans right after Hurricane Katrina, and the idea of like I'm going in this direction. I'm going towards the thing that everybody is running away from, and I don't know what I'm going to find when I get there. And that was, and it was crazy making and terrifying, and I did feel like someone who I felt like a warrior in New Orleans trying to bring the city back. So there was this conviction, like holding people accountable, and so I felt like a lot of that came directly from that. And then I think now it's a matter of it's more, I feel like this time it's been more of other people's tapping into other people's experiences. Like what does this conversation remind me of? Who does this person remind me of in my life now, and how but at the same time it also doesn't need to be either, because I feel like I have personal relationship with Zavala. I have a personal relationship with Crow. So it can, at this point it feels like it is enough just to know that character's journey. And so there doesn't have to be a whole lot of like the things that we do as actors to like conjure and pull, and it's there. There is,
You've already got enough backstory on her.
yeah, there's enough
Right.
backstory, and there's enough of a like I feel like I as Morla Eris have empathy for Zavala. You know, I have empathy for Crow. I have, so I don't that is enough. And the way that it's written allows that to be easily accessible. As far as voice, I do have I still listen to Indus from Dead Can Dance. That's 3 times. Or that's my Eris song. That is the song that I listen to that gets me into that headspace still. And now it's just a matter of like tradition, right? It's just like ritual. And then I also do as like my warm up that I do for, but that's the same that I do for any character, is that I sing the first song from Into the Woods, the musical Into the Woods,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like the entire cast is in it, and I sing all the parts. So
Nice.
that's my warm.
That's great.
Cool.
That's my fun warm up.
It's incredible.
Last question. Vodka Ministry says, question for Morla. Could the friendship between Eris and Crow blossom into something more?
I mean, never say never. I don't see it, but you never know. You never know.
Eris did hold his golden gun.
And on that note,
It was honestly the cutest
levity.
thing.
It
It was so cute.
Thank you for showing me that and that was the award, help
Yeah.
me.
It was
For
Artist of the Week
Artist of the
this
Week.
week,
Thank you.
by Pixelated Traveler, and it's this art piece of from the lore that we got last week of
Yeah.
Eris and Crow holding the golden gun together and shooting it, because Eris used to be a guardian and she used to be a hunter, and she hasn't experienced that in so long, and it was really sweet. It was
Yeah.
super sweet.
That's really cool.
It's really, yeah, it was really cool. Thanks
Yeah.
for sending that my way.
Of course.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank
yeah,
you.
Thank you
thank
for
you so
coming
much,
on again.
Morla. We really
So
appreciate it.
Wonderful
It's-
as always. Always so great to reconnect with you all, and it's never not fun. It's always fun.
It's
I'm so glad that Eris had another strong season where she's kind
Yeah.
of centered. It was like, I've got to ask Morla now. I was like,
Yeah,
make it
I'm so
happen.
glad you did. So glad you did.
very cool.
All right, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank
too.
you.
for having me.
Thank you so
Morla.
much.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks
you
for,
again.
Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Cool.
Man, she's the best.
Morla's amazing. If anybody wants to follow her on Twitter, she's at actor_Morla. That's ACTOR_MORLA for her Twitter. And yeah, you should give her a follow and see what she's up to, because she's always tweeting about stuff and getting involved with community interactions and all that. So she's incredible. So we're
Yeah.
honored to be able to have her on the show.
Absolutely incredible. She's always so wonderful.
Yep.
A
So
rift.
yeah, there's a lot too. There's some stuff that happened this week.
And then it's like, all right, Destiny. So, Fire, did you ever get to play the story mission?
Yeah.
Did you ever get your?
Yes, I did. Watts, in fact, you were correct. I can't remember the things in question that I was missing to be able to do the story. The 2 items, I can't remember what they're called, were in fact in my postmaster. So I was able to do them
nice.
right after it, which I should have known. I should have known if I couldn't find them, that's where they would be. But I thought they just didn't drop. So I was able to do the story. I was able to do this week's story as well. But I'm interested in the story, but I really want to talk about Rift, because I feel
Okay,
like
let's
Rift
do
has
it.
been all over the place.
Yeah.
A lot of people really can't stand it. A lot of people who used to like Rift, I feel like, don't like new Rift as much as old Rift. Because they
Yeah.
did change a lot of it.
It's definitely not Destiny 1 Rift.
Yeah.
I only played about
yeah.
5 games. So I want to just put that out there, right? It's like I haven't put hours and hours into Rift in the Iron Band. I played about 5 games. Initially, I got to say, I was like, oh shit, there's like a 10-minute timer on this thing. So like every match of this has to last 10 minutes. But most matches that I was in, actually, I lost track of that timer fairly quickly and got into the rhythm of kind of the ball game of Rift. Is trying to move that ball toward the opponent's goal, working with my teammates to do that, either like protecting one of my teammates while they're picking it up and like pushing that ball forward, or defending against the opponent's push. It doesn't feel like old Rift, though. It doesn't feel as kinetic and fast. It feels more it feels more like American football as opposed to like something more fast, like ice hockey. Ice hockey used to be old Rift, right, where it's fast and the thing's flying all over the place. You don't know where it's gonna be, and it's just like kinetic. This is like, you score, everybody resets, like, the screen goes black, everybody respawns. Like it feels like American football, where it's just like, okay, we're gonna run a play. The game stops. We're gonna run another play. Like that kind of thing. It's a much slower pace thing.
Yeah. So I've played probably about 20 hours of Rift, something like that. And it was, I wasn't really sure how to feel about it initially, because like you said, Rift is back, but not really, because it's kind of, even though it's called Rift, and although there's a spark, and although you're taking it to a Rift, it's very different. Because like you said, D1 Rift was chaos and drama and murder everywhere. But this is actually like tactical, more competitive, team-based, like pure objective mode.
Yeah.
Kills don't count for anything anymore. It's purely just grabbing the spark and dunking it. And they, even on the scoreboard, you can't even see how many kills you got on the scoreboard. Like, they have no merit whatsoever.
Yeah, they don't want any relevance for that. They want to exclusively focus on the objective, right? Yeah,
getting revives, getting the spark, and dunking the spark. And so initially I was like, this isn't the Rift that we wanted back. We wanted it back because it was crazy and high kill games. But I came to really appreciate that we haven't had an actual objective mode in Destiny 2 in so long. So I think a lot of the growing pain with Rift is people figuring out how to actually play an objective mode. Because you want to approach it more like trials than like control, where you're kind of holding down lanes and, keep making people safe as they get to the spark and then pushing together. And maybe you change your builds. I'm now seeing a lot of bubbles and a lot of wells, because people will what I've seen teams do is they'll push with the spark into your spawn and they'll put down a bubble. So everyone gets like an overshield and weapons of light, and they'll kind of poke in and kill you. And then they push with the spark. And it's been really interesting seeing the strategies kind of evolve. So honestly, I've been having a really good time with it. I will say I've been playing with a team, because even if you just have, say everyone on your team is the worst player ever, the fact that they can revive you makes a world of difference in this mode, because the respawn timer is very long. So if you aren't having teammates revive you, it's going to tank your experience of the mode quite a lot, I think.
Yeah. You also go back to your spawn as opposed to being like in the middle of the battle, right?
Yeah, like the benefit for respawning is you get more special ammo, but obviously getting someone rezzing you is very important. I do think that that makes a big difference. Like I think the community is going to take a while before they can actually get into the habit of they're playing Rift. They need to make sure they get revives, because when you just solo queue into stuff like that, you're usually just there to get kills or something.
Exactly. You're that's Destiny PvP, right? You're there to get kills. Like that's
so thinking you need to revive someone is just very counterintuitive to the core like casual Destiny PvP experience. And I think that's like the issue that presenting it in Iron Banner and saying Iron Banner is going to be more on the casual side, not really the peak pinnacle PvP and stuff like that. And then suddenly introduce a Rift mode that is technically highly competitive.
It actually really is. Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I'm playing some Bizarro Trials right now. Like Trials experience, right?
It's got more of a Trials vibe than like a quick play kind of vibe to it. Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I've played like with our team versus a team, and those moments are actually really fun, because there's a lot of the spark going back and forth, people dropping it, you make push, people reviving, people using defensive stuff, and that's really fun, but it's definitely not Rift.
Yeah, and it's not casual PvP.
No.
Yeah.
It's like pull your sweatbands out, my friend. Hold down them lanes.
It is the opposite experience. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't play 20 hours this week, but I played a bit, and it's funny. There's just a few things in the way of making this like truly enjoyable for me. And the things like just going to the blackout screen, in D1 Rift, it was bombastic. Someone would score, but you're still doing your thing because, kills counted. But aside from that, you're still in play and you're still managing the battlefield and all that. With the reset thing, the reset thing makes sense from a competitive perspective, but from a I'm jumping into Iron Banner perspective, it's like it slows it down so much having
Yeah,
these
very much so.
rounds, and then it's like to 5, you know. So it's
Yeah.
I even feel like that's a bit much from the playability. Like if you have the spark being fought over for like a long time, and you
Yeah.
end up having to wait to respawn and all that, like there's a lot of downtime that can happen if your
Yeah.
teammates are not
Mhm.
rezzing you, and if you're in between this limbo of the matches and all that. So I don't know. It's weird week to launch this game mode. You know?
Yeah, it was that's how I kind of felt initially. I was like, yeah, I'm having a good time, but we wanted Rift back because of Rift what Rift was in D1.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think they totally could have brought this as like, oh, it's capture the flag and have it be a flag instead of a spark and would go, yeah, this is very different to Rift. Like, this is very
Mhm.
different. And then they could have brought Rift back as just Rift and it being like a casual mode.
Totally.
But yeah, I've
Yeah.
been enjoying it.
Yeah, when the
Very
team
different.
is locked in, when you have like
Yeah.
teammates who are understanding what the objective is, and you're having some pushback and all that, it can be very enjoyable. It can be
Mhm.
exciting to be in that type of mode. But yeah, if you're solo queuing, ooh, man, like there's
Yeah.
there has to be some time to develop in the community to understand the vocabulary that's happening in that match and to get used to
Yeah.
it. But also the black screens and the respawn timers, like I feel like they take a lot of wind out of the sails for people wanting to continue with it and get better at it.
Yeah, I think it's rough for solo players. And, I used to say never go in the freelance playlist because it's more sweaty because only players who know about the freelance playlist are in the freelance playlist. But I think it's better facing those kind of players not in a team than going against teams in Rift because
Mhm.
you're basically going against people who are putting up all the defenses and reviving to your team who's probably never reviving.
Yeah.
Which is not fun. So
It could be
yeah,
frustrating.
go in freelance.
Yeah.
Definitely going freelance for this.
Also, my
It's a little
second
better.
game, I got the respawn bug, and I was like, "What
Yeah.
the hell
There's
is this?" I'm
there's
like,
a
I don't.
What's the
lot of
respawn
bugs.
bug? I haven't seen that.
So I don't know if it's at the end of the match, but it said 0 on the timer, and it just kept on respawning me into another round, and then it'd be like,
Mm,
it'd say the line and be like 3, 2, 1, and then respawn 3, 2, 1. This happened for like 2
Oh.
minutes or something. It felt like 2 minutes anyways, and I was like, "Do I leave? I don't want to leave because I'm not going to get my reputation, my points
Yeah.
for completing this match." I'm like, and it was the second match.
Yeah, so there's some bugs. There's that bug. There's also a bug where the spark just disappears. So
I
if
have not
you are
experienced
the
that yet.
team that
I've had
is
that one.
if you're the team that is behind on points, you just can't win. It's basically Clash, but there's no point doing it.
Oh my god.
Except for like the match
Cla-
complete rep, I guess.
Clash, but in
I
like
thought
a dreamlike
I thought
state.
for sure that I was just missing something. Like, why can't I see this mark at all? And like, so I Googled it real quick. I was like, oh, okay.
That's Telesto. Telesto broke the game again.
Telesto. I
Quite
like
literally.
New Rift. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a pretty fun game mode. I don't know that I want it to be my only interaction with Iron Banner
Mhm.
because I don't know that I want to get that sweaty to earn like, the new Iron Banner shotgun or the new Iron Banner whatever. I like New Rift, but I still want Old Rift back because this isn't Old Rift. It's not like Watt said, that kinetic, fast-paced, bombastic gameplay.
Yeah.
This is something different, something that I do enjoy, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see long term, but this is it doesn't have the same feel as Old Rift.
Yeah. I wish you could
Definitely.
pass the spark.
Yes, that would be super fun.
Kind of weird that you can't, right? Like, because if you hold
Yeah.
on to it for too long, it explodes. So there's that. But also,
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's the feature. Yeah.
explode.
That's like D1 also. It exploded if you held it too long. But like
Yeah.
in D1, it was very obvious that you were the spark holder and you had to escort it. In this one, it's just a buff and it takes away your ability to use a super. I wish you'd be a little more tactical with it, like throwing it. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is the backflip gone? Backflip's not
Yeah,
there
it's
anymore,
gone.
right?
You can backflip, but it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like you do the backflip, but there's been old Rift for people who don't know. You got extra points if you went in with a backflip.
Yeah.
So you can
Yeah.
do it,
Style
but you're not
points.
going to get extra points.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like
So
it's
you
just
could
a
have
few.
hit the layup, but you went in for the dunk.
Exactly. I feel like it's just a few clicks away from being like pretty good. But right now it's 50-50
Yeah.
for a lot of people. And like the
Yeah.
downtime and the bugs and the fact there's only
3 maps.
3 maps. Yep.
Mhm.
Like there's
I actually think there's some maps that were in D2 that would work really well for Rift. I think that the Dreaming City map, you guys remember that one? It was like a pretty big map. It had 3 lanes. I think that would be perfect for Rift because that's
Mhm.
kind of what all of these maps are, is that there's 3 lanes and it's a bigger map.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that map that much in regular Crucible, but for Rift, it might actually be good.
I could totally see that being
So
good. Yeah.
yeah,
What's the name of the
Citadel
new
would be good.
map? Is it called like Disjoined or
Dysfunction.
What's it called?
Right?
Dysfunction.
I think it's dysfunction.
Disjunction?
It works good for Rift.
Maybe disjunction.
It does.
Destruction.
Dis-
Disjunction.
dis-
Conjunction function. What's your disjunction?
The conjunction junction.
Discombobulated junction, the bobbity boops. Yeah. It works really well in Rift. I didn't love
Yeah.
it for a regular Crucible, but in Rift I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's actually good.
Yeah.
Does work.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also another bug. We got to let people know. Please, for the love of God.
Okay.
Gamers, please, for the love of God. So so you do challenges every day. And every day you do a challenge, it gives you a boost to your rep multiplier. Now, it's supposed to only go to 4 out of 4 challenges. So it's only supposed to count what you have done on that one character for your rep. But you can do it on other characters, and it will count for all of your characters. So you can go 5 out of 4 challenges done, 6 out of 4. And if you do that, instead of earning the 280 something rep that you're supposed to, you'll be earning like 50.
50.
So,
So less.
a lot less.
So don't
So,
play other characters.
Either don't play other characters, or I played another character for the Pinnacle, and I think a lot of people will, because they're like, oh, it's Pinnacles, it's 4 freaking Pinnacles. What you can do is don't play Solar or Void, because it's play Iron Banner matches as Solar or Void, and just stay at 4 out of 4 challenges complete. Don't go to 5 out of 5. Don't do it.
You'll break it.
You'll break it. And
Just
you
like
have to do
Rift.
2 Iron Banner resets to get the title. So there's
Yeah,
also
you
a
don't
brand
wanna
new
break that.
shader after 1 reset.
Mm.
So yeah. See, Willie in chat, he's getting 33 and 66 rep per match.
Oofa.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh, and the
bug.
way that people are completing so you need to do a certain amount of challenges to get the title. The way that people are completing it now, because you need to do 12 challenges, which people are deleting characters and making new characters.
Again.
To get the title.
And I think the only way that you can actually fix that bug is to delete the character that you did the most challenges on, which would be like your main, I guess.
Ooh.
I don't know if
man.
you want to do that. There's going to be another Iron Banner. Just do what you can. We'll see if they can fix it.
Wait for a patch.
Dylan said on Twitter that they're trying to see if they can get a fix before the end of the week. Obviously, they only have 1 week to like find what's causing the issue, fix it, and ship it.
Yeah.
So it's rough, but hopefully they fix it, or they give us just an extra week of Iron Banner at
Mhm.
some point in the season. That might just be the easiest
that'd be
thing for
good.
them to do.
What do you think of the
Story?
weapons?
We're going to talk about the story?
Well,
Mhm.
what do you think of the loot
Mhm.
though, and the way that stuff is drawn? You know, they got the engrams now, iron engrams.
Yeah,
like
and
that?
you can focus them.
Mhm.
So as soon as you've earned like the fusion rifle or the SMG, you can then take any Iron Banner engrams and just keep picking that over and over and over and over again. I like that personally. It gives you a way easier way to farm for a role you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the time, like with Shax's engrams, I just don't pick them up because I don't gain anything from picking them up except shards, I guess.
Yeah.
But with the iron engrams, it actually does give me a reason to pick them up and try and get. I'm sure you can even go for rolls on armor and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. I do like that.
Yeah, happy about that change.
You know, the
No
only thing I don't like
more,
is that it's another great void SMG. Share is unaware,
Yeah.
you know. But It does. It feels great. It's a really great feeling SMG. It's just, it's another.
Can you
one.
get a better roll on it than Funnel Web? Or is Funnel
I
Web
don't
still
know actually.
ideal?
Yeah, I don't know. You can obviously get the Iron Banner specific
Right.
rolls on it, which maybe that's really good for it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
No
Cool.
more bounties in Iron Banner, right? They're gone.
No, it's the challenges.
Yeah, they switched them to the daily challenges, which you have to hover over the thing, right?
Yeah, you
before
have to
you hit.
hover over the node.
I'll be honest, that confused me initially. I was like, challenges? Where the
Yeah.
hell are these challenges? And I was like,
It also says
Oh.
weekly challenge, which is very confusing when it's a daily challenge.
yeah, a lot of confusion on there. Like, do these daily challenges. I'm like, yeah, I swear I play Destiny. Like, where is this daily challenge? How am I missing this? Yeah, so that confused me. We're gonna have to have time pass before we can really give the verdict on Rift.
Yeah, I think it definitely has a place to just be way more frustrating.
Right. Yeah, it's this weird place that it could just be like a huge pain point for people that never want to interact with it. It could become worse than Gambit, or it could be an amazing competitive experience. And we've talked a lot about having pure objective competitive modes in Destiny. So this is the first time them actually introducing that in such a long time. So I hope they don't get I hope they
Discouraged.
don't. Yeah, exactly. Discouraged from the negative feedback.
Like, hey, Destiny players haven't had to do the whole objective thing. So, like, the only way that we're going to get more objective modes is by people learning to play objective modes.
Yeah.
People have to get used to it at some point if that's what we want. So,
Yeah. This would be like if we had like a Destiny tournament too. This would be one of the. I'd love to see this mode be included in that.
Mm-hmm.
It also, you get steamrolled if like people start quitting off your team, like the other team scores first. It's really hard to catch up again because like a couple of people leave off your team and it's basically over. You're just watching that clock run down.
yeah, people leaving
Sucks.
Yeah, and that can be another pain point too, because like they have to get to 5. It's like, okay, the Rift has a spawn, and they got to go get it, and then they got to bring it over and get that. Okay,
and then the black screen, and then
now do it again because you got to get the 5th point. There's no mercy on there. So
yeah, and Rift was the reason we have the mercy rule, which I find funny. And now,
really?
now there's no mercy.
That's funny. All right, let's talk story. Yeah, Briar.
Yeah.
What do you?
Oh, you believe this, shithead? Are you kidding me?
What do you mean? It was so emotional. He was like,
"Oh, he's a good actor."
He's legitimately
really
come to terms,
your heart, isn't he?
He's come to terms with who Uldren was and the fact that he has tendencies in him like Uldren, and realizing that he can avoid catastrophes by having that.
We'll see about that. This record's not so hot, is it? He just killed that fucking Scion. He killed our best friend.
Well, he killed the Scion.
Well, he's setting up to be a Hunter Vanguard, Briar. Strap on in.
Yeah, is this
big mistake? Big mistake.
I do wish Mylan was here for this because there's so much. Like, is this the first time that
they've said it?
Yeah, that it basically the game is confirming that he's going to step up. He's like, in order to be a better person than Uldren, he needs to support people and lift them up as Crow.
Yeah, and he's
It's
and
like
he's hoping that he can support.
Yeah, Uldren killed Cade, and in order to right that wrong, he can step up as Crow and be the Hunter
support
Vanguard.
Hunters.
Yeah, support hunters. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, they don't say Hunter Vanguard, but you get it. Right?
It was like pretty clear, right? Where it's like, I hope that I can do that and support hunters, and I was like, oh, that's just straight up. That you might as well just say Hunter Vanguard. That was the most clearest day.
Well, wasn't there like some dialogue right before or a few in the back that was talking about the Vanguard? I could have swore there was like discussions about that. In fact, I think there was like an interaction between him and Uldren talking about like his stance on the Vanguard, and you're even going to help the Vanguard, and then he talks about lifting up hunters, and I was like, oh man, he is so becoming the Hunter Vanguard.
It's really setting it up for it. I say we bring Caitlyn as our Hunter Vanguard.
Yeah. I think she should be the speaker.
Can I just say, there was so there's the you do the story stuff, and then there's the thing that you can listen to, and it was Caitlin today talking about just over the speaker, whereas last week it was Amanda being very pissed off at Crow.
Fuck yeah.
And and
Lying
I don't
pieces.
know anything that Caitlin was saying, but at the end she signed off with gonna go eat mountains and drink seas, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's
I
I was
want to
like,
hang with Caitlin.
yeah.
We eat mountains and
She's
drink
like,
seas.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds fun as hell.
And I was just thinking, eat mountains, drink seas, like and subscribe. And I was like, Caitlin, I love this. This is great. It made me laugh. I had no idea what the hell she was talking about, but that was good stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
And she said
This was the
Val's
first
Forge.
time. This was the first time that I have felt any sympathy for Crow. Like, honestly.
Is that
Like,
so, Briar?
The first time.
Just being
Which
honest.
I take as a personal weakness, and I'll try and get better.
Are these the nightmares? Have they been affecting you too?
Yeah.
Briar's nightmare is like a pork sandwich or something, talking to him.
Yeah. Doing that mission, I was a little disappointed. I was like, oh, it's the same mission as last week, which makes sense because he failed the mission last week, right?
Uh-huh.
But they did change it a little bit. Like, I think some of the things were in different spots. There were some different enemies. Like, instead of just having that one, was it a bather chasing you? Like an invincible bather?
It's like a Gowron. It's like a Gowron from the
Yeah,
dungeon.
mini Galron.
Yeah.
He's still in there.
There was like some other stuff in there. I don't know. It was a little different, but I don't want to fight that one dude in the circle like over and over again. So I don't know if we'll
think
be doing.
because that's
You think we're
like,
done with that.
yeah, because that's the the whole thing of him calling Crow daddy. It's like,
Right.
So
father.
that's like his nightmare. And now that
Yeah.
he's
He's
past that, we won't have to do it anymore.
He's the father of, or the creator of those guys. So that's part of his
Yeah.
nightmare, is being.
But we
having
still
to
got
leave
more
them.
weekly missions coming, right?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got Zavala has to confront his wife that
That's
he
right.
has the nightmare with, and Keitel has Gaul.
Oh, I can't wait for that one. That one's actually pretty exciting. Zavala, I don't really care. He's a cop.
His wife is awesome though. Like all of her kind of build up is in the lore. Sophia's in the lore, and she's just like straight up laying it on Zavala. And the most recent lore thing was about her and Zavala, and he was trying to like train up the troops to be fighters, the regular human people, not guardians. And one of them got a cut, and he's like, "Oh, would you give up if you're on the battlefield? You got to keep going." And then this guy ends up cutting Zavala, and Zavala's ghost is about to heal him. And Sophia's like, "No, you're gonna experience what it's like to get sutures and heal. It's gonna take weeks, so you can experience what it's like to be a regular person." So her whole thing is kind of teaching Zavala what it's really like, what the real experience is like, instead of being, this immortal god that just comes in, stomps everything, leaves, never has injuries.
Hmm.
It's
Pops a bubble in
I
the corner
do.
and hides.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like the Uvalde Police Department.
Ooh, damn.
True though. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see about
Nightmares.
her freaking nightmares. Yeah.
I like what they're doing with it. I
Me
actually
too.
really like the repurposing of the Leviathan. We got a little bit more details on how it happened too, or not how, but like it had disappeared out of space and time, and then suddenly came back, but was infested, and all the crew was gone. But like the crew that is there is like these mindless, almost like fungus or something.
They're like newborn babies without a brain in it or something. It's kind of what she was saying.
but
Very angry babies.
but they have the will of Callus. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
the will
I
of
think
Callus in them?
it was that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
we also found this
fascinating.
Callus robot in the corner, right? I had a little conversation with the Callus robot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, in the first story.
Yeah, it happened again. He talks. The
Yeah.
second time I went in. Yeah.
Mhm.
Fungal, yeah. Some fungal craziness. So I really like them taking this asset, and because it's familiar, but now it's different, and there's interesting implications going on with what this whole nightmare fungus is and all that that's coming
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, we're actually like learning what that is, because before it was like, oh, creepy flowers, they're clearly doing sussy stuff, and now we're kind of fleshing it out more, which is nice.
Yeah, Yeah, it's new Callus dialogue
guys-
each week. Yeah, for the bot. That's what I thought. So make
I
sure.
I missed the callus bot. Is that in the Sever mission?
Yeah, it's
Is he
in
in
the
there?
Sever mission. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just walk up to him, then he'll give
I need to
you
talk to him.
his callousness.
Did you guys see that Bungie confirmed on Twitter that there will be no return of air dodging for Titans?
Twilight
I
Garrison,
did.
Tocom
Yep.
said, "I want you to know this is never happening."
Yeah, he said, by the way, that's my fantasy as a warlock, and you're never getting it back.
Yeah. That's
He put it as like, I'm gonna pull the band-aid off here, and it felt like that. Like, it felt like they were ripping a band-aid off. Like, ow!
yeah, so many
glad you did it,
people
but goddamn.
so many people want that exotic back for Titans. I mean, I used it and I thought it was fantastic. Of course,
It was a
loved-
fun as hell exotic.
Yeah, super
was
fun.
very
It was like super fun.
And then they gave it to Warlocks, which is kind of weird. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, though, it is strange to think of a Titan suddenly being unbelievably agile in the air.
Floofing in the sky. Yeah.
Look at these
I
acrobatics
know. I do.
have.
I do agree that, like, if you just look at what warlocks are now, I guess, especially with all of their Icarus dash and stuff, that fits their identity, being flying in the air, floofing, gliding.
Mhm.
But I'd also do think it's funny where it's like Titans. That was Titans' identity first, right? And then-
Yeah, the Twilight Garrison.
yeah.
This would be a great time to be a lore master and just suddenly talk about all the lore behind the Twilight Garrison, why it's a Titan thing, and then
Literally fought in the Twilight Gap with it, and now
Yeah.
Titans ain't got
Yeah.
it no more. Sorry.
the cool
Right.
thing about it's gone. Sorry,
Should have
Titans.
protected that first tower. Now look.
Yeah. Well,
Did you guys happen to see the new Bungie Pride collectible pin that
Mhm.
comes with an
I
emblem and all that?
did.
yeah, really
Mhm.
cool.
I really
Go
like
get
the
that.
emblem.
Yep.
Yeah, the emblem is really good.
And did you
I'm gonna-
guys see what Bungie did with Amaze?
Yes,
The
it's
video.
incredible.
The rap video? Hell yeah.
Wasn't it incredible? It's like
Absolutely
they basically
incredible.
Yeah, it was
shot
good.
a whole music video with Amaze about telling your Destiny story.
Yeah,
It was very, very cool.
yeah,
like-
that's amazing.
Like cool, like effects and like visual effects and everything. Like really, it was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
top
actually
notch.
did like a full music video is what
Yep.
that felt
Yeah.
like. I love that Bungie's working with the community closely
Mhm.
like that. I never expected that.
Yep. Yeah, that's super cool.
Uh,
There was some stuff in the TWAB as well, since we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, the buffs. I think the buffs were very interesting. There was a lot of the TWAB is them explaining, here's how Rift works.
Yeah.
Here's how you play Rift. If you hold on to the spark too long, you explode. You can res.
I didn't know that. I either died with it or put it in its home fast enough that I never exploded with it.
Yeah, they had to do a little description, give people some understanding on that. But they also realized that Solar 3.0 didn't quite land where they wanted it to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Kevin actually said that they actually would like to release something new with it being spicy rather than it being not
Mhm.
spicy, because they can rein it in, but it's more important that players get it in their hands and they're like, oh, this is so cool, than being like, I'm gonna go back to Void.
Yeah.
So they are doing some changes for also worth noting that the fragments are available now. You can go get the new fragments that
so-
were locked, so you can go grab those. So the initial reactions to Solar did not meet their reactions. So here's some reasons why. Ember of Benevolence shipped in an inconsistent state that left healers feeling underwhelmed with their kit when it didn't behave as expected. Warlocks who wanted to specialize in healing had limited ways to interface with that fantasy, with 2 of their 3 aspects focusing on aerial mobility or scorching, and losing the flexibility of choosing to use their grenade to heal allies or damage enemies on the fly. And Titans, while bombastic and potent, lacked ways to keep their engine running without needing to run Throwing Hammer or burning multiple cooldowns. So, they're doing some buffs. Warlocks. Here's what you're getting. Heat rises. They're adding a behavior where consuming your grenade now releases a burst of cure ×2 around you, healing you and nearby allies. And then consuming a healing grenade increases that to cure ×3. And consuming a touch of flame healing grenade provides restoration on top of that. So
Yeah.
if you want to be a healer, you can actually like build into that now.
Yeah.
Which is good because I know a lot of people who like that's their fantasy for Warlock is being the healer. You know, you had the well, it was the
Yeah.
first kind of like healing class, and that's what people built into. That's what they found fun. So.
Yep.
Then we have an added behavior to Icarus Dash while airborne. Rapidly defeating targets with your super or any weapon cures you. That's scary.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I read that and I was like,
Huh.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how many rapidly is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
does it start with like 2 or 3?
Good question.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Celestial Fire is now getting 10 Scorch stacks with its projectile, and then it increases to 15 with Ember of Ashes equipped. So those are your buff Warlocks. Solar Titans. Burning Maul is getting a PvE damage boost of 25%. Big bonks.
It's good.
Big damage.
Yeah.
Roaring Flames is getting an added behavior where, while Roaring Flames is active, your uncharged melee attack now deals solar damage and applies 30 Scorch stats to targets per hit. And you can get up to 40. So you can just punch people. Even with no
just keep
melee. Just
on-
freaking punch them and scorch them.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
If I was a Titan, I would just stand there and punch bosses.
Yeah.
No
right?
hammer. I'm just going to stand there and just punch them, scorch them.
Keep applying some
Will it
scorch.
be effective? Maybe
They
not.
said that the Titans were running out of the steam for the loop too quickly.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep the engine
Yeah.
going.
That's
so-
how I feel. It's like I got cool shit I can do, but like most of the time I'm just waiting for it to come recharge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because when the solar stuff came out, everyone was saying that Titans and Warlocks feel really weak, Hunters feel good. And then people discovered what you could do with Solar Titan, and they've been destroying literally everything. Just destroying everything. And they're like, I'm again buff. Nice. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Also Titans Consecration. Fragment slots are being increased from 1 to 2, and they raise the height of the secondary attack's ground wave by 25% to more easily catch players who jump too late. So harder to jump out of that new melee attack. Yeah, and then they kind of just say that after they ship Arc 3.0, kind of don't expect to hear much from the abilities team because they've done a lot and they've been talking to us a lot, which is fair. So I'm sure they'll go away and work on maybe an
Arc 3.0.
subclass. Poison 3.0.
Well, Arc 3.0 is technically next, right?
It is next, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they
Next
push it.
season.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that far away.
All right, it's coming up.
I am excited for Arc. I've always enjoyed Arc, and if it's about like speed and chaining, that just sounds really fun because it's been like close range, speed, chaining. That's fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bugs. The player support, the known issues is it's getting longer.
There's a few bugs in the game right now.
There are some bugs.
Yeah.
If you kill Fickrel too quickly, you get trapped in the gauntlet.
Don't melt them. Quit being so good, Guardian.
Stop being so good. We've got armor losing slots, mod slots. We've got tether from hunters can cause severe drop rates, frame drop rates.
Does it mention anything about the tower, like just never loading, sitting on a black screen in the tower?
Probably. But
It's
yeah,
been
the
happening to
tower's
me.
screwed. I don't do anything in the tower because I don't even launch an activity from the tower. I go to orbit and then launch the activity because it takes so long to load the map that it's faster for me to go to orbit and then go somewhere. It's
Really?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mess, yeah. Bit of a mess. And yeah, artist of the week was awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
As they always are.
Yep.
And then there's just some notes on the GCX charity stream happening. and Bungie's going to be doing some stuff for it. So
Cool.
keep an eye on it.
Very cool. Oh, you know what? We
Mm.
got to do the dungeon last
We
week.
did.
Oh,
We
right,
didn't-
the dungeon.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, obviously, because it happened on Friday.
It happened on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the dungeon. I'm going to say, I don't know how you were feeling after it, Tefty, but I have never been so exhausted from a day one anything, I think,
Yeah?
than that dungeon. Yeah, I think it's because when you're in it, it feels very like go, 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 like the whole way. Because in the Nightmare Realm, you have this time limit where
Mhm.
you're obviously having to go, go, go because of the time limit. And then when you're not in the Nightmare Realm, there's so many ads that you're just like flailing for your life the whole way. So I think I just it was 3 hours of just pure go, go, go the whole time. So I was
Mhm.
exhausted.
You beat it in 3 hours?
It's a little over 3,
Give or take.
320.
That's
Something
pretty
like that.
good.
Yeah, something like that.
Nice. Nicely
Yeah,
done.
not bad. Yeah, we started
Not
like
bad.
1 or 2, or no, it was 2:30. Sorry. Yeah, I just remembered. Yeah, it was I was exhausted specifically, but I definitely know what you mean by that feeling of like it was a on your feet constantly type of thing.
Yeah.
I ended up switching to Devour or actually maybe I was on Devour right away. I can't remember. I think I was on Devour right away because I just I didn't have my resilience maxed out, which I should have. But
Yeah.
between Devour and the number of ads, that was I was trying to strike that balance because staying alive was definitely like interesting initially, but then if
Yeah.
you switch your resilience all the way up, it becomes way easier. to
Yeah,
stay alive.
I've got the classy restoration mod now
Oh,
where
yeah.
every time I dodge, I'm just gonna heal, and then
Yep.
also bumping up your resilience is gonna be great. And there's a new fragment where when you get solar ability or solar weapon kills, it just keeps radiant and all of that going.
Yeah.
So I
Oh.
feel like the dungeon will be pretty nice.
Yeah, if you
now.
build for that, like you're good to go in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the dungeon. I thought it was a lot of
Mhm.
fun. I obviously it's always fun going in blind. It was great cracking
Yep.
solving puzzles and all that with you guys. But it's definitely not my favorite dungeon. Like I think
No.
yeah, because it feels a little samey. In fact, when we beat the boss, I was thinking that there would be another part because I was like, well,
Yeah.
this isn't like the boss part, right? Like there's something else going on here. And then I was like, oh, that's it. We're done. Okay.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I liked the dungeon. I love that we're in Callus's head. I love that
Mhm.
Keitel is, Callus's nightmare and how that all plays into it. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I didn't love it.
Mhm.
I didn't dislike it.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
love
like a neutral dungeon. Like, cool.
It was a new spot. Yeah, whereas I think a lot of the dungeons, the first time I do them, I'm like, that was cool,
Mhm.
So I don't know what it was about this dungeon.
Yeah. For me, like I said, it was there was a certain sameness, like a samey
Yeah.
type of feel going throughout it. And I like the mechanic of switching to this like hell mode. And you feel like you're in Doom Eternal Hell or something like
Yeah.
that. And then you switch back with those the bells and all that. But the landscape didn't vary enough for me to feel
Mm,
like big sweeping changes to make me feel like I've gone through this big journey. And then the
yeah.
boss at the end, like I guess I'm just used to something being a bit more grandiose. I'm like, there's the boss, and we have to coordinate our
There's
attacks a
Speedy
certain way.
Caitlin just going, boop, 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 bell's mine. And
Yeah,
that's
the
it.
fact like her mechanic was to chase and go grab the bell, and then like that's done. Well, we did ring the big bell, so I guess I'm not giving it enough credit on that. Like there is the big
did
bell
ring a big
thing,
bell,
you
that's
hit
true.
the chains, and you make that happen. So that's really cool. But I guess the culmination just didn't feel as grand. But I did enjoy it though. Like I definitely don't
That's
want
the
to.
thing. This is what I'm saying to people. I'm like, I enjoyed it. It just wasn't. I think that's you actually kind of hit it on the head of where it didn't feel like this epic journey. Whereas I
Mhm.
think a lot of the other dungeons do feel like this journey through a dungeon.
Yeah.
And this one, yeah, did feel. It almost felt like I was in the same room, like the
Yeah.
whole time, like different parts of the same room instead of going
That's how I felt.
through. Yeah.
It's almost like a mission, like we were on a mission as opposed to like a dungeon.
Yeah.
That's a loop.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The guns, I didn't get any, but I got all armor. I need to run it more. And you can, and the thing with this is that you can farm it on the same character and get new drops. You just
Yes.
can't get the exotic from what I've heard.
Yep.
And all of the weapons are like really good and they look really good. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely, and the sword is super cool. I want the goddamn sword.
Yeah, me too. So you only have one chance per character per week, but everything else you can farm. So that's
You can,
really
yeah,
cool.
you can just farm it.
Yeah, it's nice that they give you the option to just farm drops in there, because so you could like go in with clanmates, you could go in with someone that's new if you've already done it, and still get drops from there, and you can get new drops too. It's not like you have to. It's not like a knockout system where you have to get it first and then you can farm it. It's like all the stuff is available except for the exotic sword at the end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you can literally just play it all day and go for
Yeah.
the rolls on the weapons that you want.
Yep. Yeah, and the weapons seem really good.
They do. I
So-
wish I got like one on that run. I mean, I know I could have farmed it all weekend. I know I was tired. What do you want from me?
I got a pretty good pulse rifle. Let me check it real quick. It's called the Purpose or New Purpose, and mine got Desperado and Perpetual Motion on there. So
That's pretty good.
nice, yeah, not bad. A good symbiosis perks right there. So I haven't tried soloing it yet. I want to. I'm gonna do that this week, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing actually is that so there's achievements that you can do that increase your drop rate chance of the exotic,
Mm.
which I thought was really cool because
That's
normally
cool.
it's
That's
like doing it on master or soloing it or grabbing all of these memories or whatever. It's like you just do it if you want the title or just do it because you're someone who likes to do everything. But
Mhm.
this is actually a reason to do all of that.
Yeah, cool.
You want to do a couple Twitter questions before we sign off?
Quitter questions. That's
Quidditch.
Quitter
right, Brian.
questions.
You call them
Quitter
quitters.
Quitter
Questions.
Bunch
questions.
of quitters.
The Mohican 9 said, I had my first feel old moment the other day. Mohican 9, aren't you like 25? I had to pull down my glasses to read something on my phone. Have you ever done something that made you feel older almost instantly?
Yeah, I've done like
Yeah,
the
list
whole
of these
grandma get up, like getting like my hair done before bed, like putting that in like a little cap thing, and I've done the whole grandma get up, and Tone just looks at me and he's like, "You look like a grandma." I'm like, I know, I feel like a grandma. Or even things like that you realize your parents did as they're kind of getting older, and you're experiencing them getting older, and you're like, "Oh, I get it now. I understand why
Oh,
you do
yeah.
all those things."
Yeah.
Last year I had to get new glasses and they were bifocals.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I heard Nirvana on the classic rock station.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I listened to a classic like R&B and hip hop thing, and I was like, "This is just music I listen to."
Songs you like?
Yeah, I was talking to my mother the other
Not
day,
classic rock.
and I'm like, in retrospect, it was really mean that we called the music from your childhood the oldies, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. The oldies, yeah.
Oh man. For me, it's some sort of persistent pain that won't go away.
My back,
Oh yeah.
my back is that totally. Sparty for You says, how do you deal with a nightmare when the nightmare is your co-host and the fear is that they eat you, asking for Briar?
Hmm. Yeah, how do you deal with that, Briar?
I try and ignore it. I try and play it off like it's a joke, but I'm not really sure, and I'm super uncomfortable.
One of these days.
Just think about being covered in Szechuan sauce.
I think about that all the time, obviously.
Briar's got a pool. It's filled with Szechuan
Yeah.
sauce.
He's like, and he makes sure no one can. The camera's off. He hides the webcam. He like closes all the blinds. Like, can't let anyone see me. They'll come lick
Yeah.
me. Think I'm
That's
delicious.
for my OnlyFans.
It's sauce time for Briar.
Sauce time.
You could totally do an OnlyFans and
A
have
sauce
different
pool.
sauce of the day, and you just
Yeah.
What sauce is Briar getting in today? Find
Oh
out.
man, what kind of clientele is that gonna attract?
All of the DCP listeners, I think, all of them.
Hugo Rune 79 says, if you had to pick one highlight from each decade of your life so far, what would those highlights be?
Decade of my life so far?
Each decade. That's tough.
Hmm.
Like the 0 to 10 decade, the memory's a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting a Transformer when I was a kid. That was pretty cool.
My mom set up like a jungle kind of gym thing in the backyard. That was great.
That sounds nice.
That was really fun.
I think I got a Nintendo, Super Nintendo. My brother brought home a Super
Oh.
Nintendo, and I was like, "Oh snap!
Yeah.
The young Tefty going, oh, snap.
It's going down. Let's go."
How about your teenage years? You got any good memories for your teenage years?
Absolutely not.
I got a few. There was one time. So my dad got awarded disability from being in Vietnam, and because I was under 18, I got some money for that, and I got a check, and then I was like, I'm building myself a computer. So I went down to Fry's Electronics, and I built a dual Pentium 3 state-of-the-art
Whoa!
PC. Yeah,
Wow.
got all the components, and that was good. Yeah,
How much did that cost?
I don't
Dual
remember.
processors.
Yeah, it was a dual
It must have been
Pentium 3.
expensive.
It was probably like $2,000 or something like that, somewhere around there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dual Pentium 3, dude. Pentium 3, man.
Yeah,
Wasn't Pentium 3 like a big like vertical like slot? Kind of, it
Was
almost
it?
looked like a
No.
RAM.
I think it was
Module?
square. No, I think it was square.
Was it like
Yeah.
a flat, like a normal one? Okay.
Pretty sure.
It
I
was a
guess
Pentium 2.
that's what, from age 10 to 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was 12, I performed in my first musical, and that was one that was like in a big place, like a proper theater, and that was really cool because it was like my first ever audition for anything like that, and
wow.
I got it, and that was really cool. I got to meet
Nice.
like all the actors who were, some of them were pretty famous for
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
yeah, it was cool.
I don't have like one memory from that time, but I had a amazing core group of friends in like throughout like junior high school and high school, and still honestly. And I just remember you have so much free time in that period of your life, and you spend so much time with your friends. I just remember enjoying that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about your 20s to your 30s?
Well, that's like my career, moving countries, getting married, buying a house, becoming, I guess, more comfortable with myself. I think that
was
happens in your 30s.
All partying for me. I didn't do any of that stuff till my 30s.
Yeah. Like my life actually started, I guess, in that point, because before that I was just a very, very sick child with chronic illness, not getting diagnosed till I had it for like 10 years or something. So that was like a large portion of my life, and then I got to that point and I was like, I'm living life. I get to drive a car. It's amazing.
Yeah, you like live in your own place for the first time, right? Like, I
Yeah.
guess some people technically, like when you're like around 18, you tend to like either go to college or get your first place. But like your 20s to your 30s, like that decade is really like you really start like living independently. You get your first job, you get your first place. You like you
Yeah.
start like dating like for reals, not just like in school. You know, like
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah,
it's so fun. It's really
The
a good
20s
time.
to 30s really are like a probably like the biggest portion of what you're going to be
Yeah.
doing a lot in your life for a lot of people.
Yeah,
But
for me, it
maybe,
was a lot of like
bleeds out into a
cookouts and
certain-
parties and stuff like that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think honestly, though, the 30s to the 40s for me were my favorite decade because that's when I
Yeah.
got married. That's when I bought a house for real. That's when I started
a
to like
Ferrari?
do all that stuff. A house for real, not a Ferrari.
Sounded like you're about to
Ferrari
say
house.
Ferrari.
Bought a Ferrari. That was
Ferrari
good.
house. I mean, Ferrari Fridays.
I honestly like that. I was just having so much fun, and like everything was. It was a little more it was less chaotic than my 20s, but I was still, I felt like I had more money, so I wasn't always worried about like financial stuff like I was in my 20s, which can be a big stressor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, my 20s were super fun too. I don't know. Honestly, you know how they say like the best days of your life were when you're in high school? I think that's bullshit. I think it just keeps getting better. Like I do not believe that.
Yeah, you hear from people all the time that are like the 30s are like the best. Like 30s are great. And I'm
30s are
definitely
good,
having
yeah.
a lot more fun in my 30s than the 20s because 20 I was still like figuring myself out and not really feeling confident in a bunch of stuff about myself. And with 30, I finally feel like somewhat stable and like I know who I am and I know what I want and it's
You got more
a big
security.
difference. Yeah.
Everybody you meet who's an
Way
adult
better.
doesn't feel like a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Start having like
20s, you're figuring stuff out a lot, constantly.
But
30s,
it's fun though.
Oh yeah, of course, it should be fun,
Yeah.
at least somewhat. But but 30s, you technically have a bit more understanding. You've been burnt enough to know what you really want.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
true. You've seen all the red flags, you've lived the red flags, now you can notice them before you have to experience it.
You got some perspective.
There was a comedian. I wish I could remember it because I heard this probably 20 years ago. But the comedian was basically saying that your 20s, you're narrowing down what you like, right? It's like you're kind of like, you're more about like I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that because you're just trying to like narrow it down. You're like because you're just confronted with all this information and you're just trying to like figure out like what the core of you is. And in your 30s, you found that core and you start adding stuff in again, like the stuff that you dismissed out of hand in your 20s just because you didn't understand or you didn't like. You start bringing that stuff in again, and I always thought that was a really interesting concept. I don't know if it's true, but it seems true.
I think weirdly in my 30s, I'm kind of like you said, discovering things from childhood that I really like and that are a part of me. Whereas in the 20s, you're kind of like trying to figure out who you are. So I think that's kind of true. It's like I know from 20s, I'll kind of figure out what I like, and then I'm kind of like bringing stuff back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm doing that a little bit. That's a good question.
Yeah,
that was a good question. I like that one. Morla liked it too, and I wish I had a chance to ask her while she was still here.
Call her back.
Yeah, just
get back
call
on
her back. Eric Miller, this will be the last question of the night. We had a ton of questions tonight. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of them, but shit happens. Eric Miller says, "Is everyone on DCP horror movie fans? If so, what's your favorite one? I would have to go with Hereditary. The last 15 minutes of that movie is haunting." Are you guys horror movies fans? I actually don't know.
I honestly, I used to watch more when I was younger. I used to be less scared when I was younger. And now I'm just like, oh dear God, everything's terrifying. But I am. I've liked horror movies a lot. There's always the one that I forget what it's called. I'm gonna have to Google it. You guys talk about horror movies.
I'm kind of the same. I don't like new horror movies because they're too scary. When I was a kid, though, horror movies were like Friday the 13th and Freddy, and like they're almost goofy, so they weren't really that scary. They were fun to watch, almost as like a
technology got too good for itself. Now it's like this hyper realism about
now they're so fucking scary that like I still don't think that like movies get close to how scary a video game can be because like video games have like really scared me.
They put you in the feeling like you are the protagonist walking around about to get sliced in half.
If a horror movie has a good story, I'll watch it. But if it's mainly just threatening like kids, then it's just too stressful. I don't want to see kids like.
Speaking of threatening, my one I think I'd say it was my favorite because it's one that like genuinely disturbed me. Is Sinister, which is a movie about this being that kind of corrupts kids, and the kids end up killing their parents in like really gruesome ways, like tying them up and running them over with lawnmowers.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was like, and they didn't show the bad guy for a long time. and they just give you little hints, which is the way to do horror movies for sure. They just give you little peeks, and then they finally showed him, and I was like, oh dear God. I thought I was seeing him in my backyard. It was bad. Yeah, that movie was. I was like, Jesus Christ! They're showing children just absolutely brutally murdering their family.
Yikes. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't go out seeking horror films or anything like that. Like, it's
Yeah.
usually it's got to kind of break into the mainstream-ish type of stuff, you know, to because like you could list a whole bunch of horror films. I would be like, I have no idea what these are. I don't know. I did see like Event Horizon. I saw that in chat pop up, and that legitimately scared me.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, that scared the crap out of me. This whole concept of going to near some Event Horizon and opening up hell, and it unleashes demonic people doing stuff. You know,
Yeah.
that gave me the spooks. But I don't really like seek it out. I know it can be a thrill for people to have that experience of like some, I don't know, the psychology.
Maybe it's
behind it,
because
right?
I've been
It's like a dopamine hit.
I've been really scared. Now that I'm an adult, I've been in really scary situations that now I don't need to seek it out. Whereas as a kid, I was like, woo, time to be
Like,
scared.
that demonic possession that I saw a few years back really put a damper on any actual horror
Yeah.
films I want to
You
see.
really
This
ruined
movie's
me.
so unreal. It doesn't go like this. Do you guys consider Stranger Things to be horror?
Okay, I was going to bring this up because the latest season is definitely leaning a lot more into horror tropes with like sound
A
effects
little more
hitting.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, the main enemy is like pretty terrifying as well. Like possessing people and snapping them up into a bunch of
Yeah.
broken bones and crap. Like that's a yikes.
Yeah, I guess it is going more horror for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first season being pretty scary. I think it was because the kids were so young too. It was like I just don't like seeing kids get hurt. You know, like it's just
Oh, like
maybe
you'd
it's
love
the
Sinister. It's
parent.
kids killing people.
Oh yeah, it's much better. It's
Maybe
like
that will
Children of the Corn.
unlock a fear for you. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, right.
Like as a parent, don't like what's going on here.
Yeah. Actually, Shadowblade in chat was talking about it being more supernatural than horror, and I think the earlier seasons have been that way, but this one, I think, is definitely leaning into the horror side of stuff because
yeah.
the way it's been edited and all that, they're constantly trying to get you hit with jump scares and stuff.
But they're still doing that 80s fucking awesome nostalgia so hard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
God, it's just drips with it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like they just kill it with that show. I love that show. Me and the wife watched the whole third season. So that we were caught up for the fourth season.
Oh.
And then the fourth season's there's a bunch of hour and a half episodes.
Dude, they are long.
Yeah.
The last one is an hour 38 minutes. I was like, whoo, we are watching small
that's
movies.
a movie.
Yeah, exactly. And it's part one. It was 7 episodes. Then there's going to be a part 2 in July. And I've really enjoyed it. Although I feel like some of the storyline, the additional stuff that they've spun off I was like, we don't need this much of that. we could just focus on the Hawkins stuff for the majority of it, and then just dip in here and there. For
You talking about the Russia stuff?
Yeah, the Russia stuff was way too played out for me, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, they're doing more torture. Next episode, oh, they're torturing again. Like, oh, getting beat again. You know, anyways.
Yeah. I thought season 3 was such a high peak to that show with I don't know, the whole Scoops ice cream outfits and the mall and the big monster and the Russians, everything just came together in that season to be just so fucking good.
Yeah, it was a good season.
Yeah. All right, should we wrap it up?
Oh, that's it.
I think so.
That's DCP Live episode 292.
Yeah.
It was a fun episode. It was always amazing getting to talk to Morla.
Yeah, seriously. If you missed her, please go check it out. It's super interesting listening to all the things she does. I love that she's creatures and monsters. That's amazing.
So cool, right? She's like a specialist.
Yeah.
Right?
People were like, we need a scary monster. Call Morla.
Yeah.
I want there to be an IMDb for her so I can look at all the stuff she's done. I didn't know she was in The Last of Us 2. Did you guys know that?
I didn't know. I don't, because I don't think they tell you the the voice actor behind like creatures, right? Like, don't
Right.
say stalker, Morla.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, I would need a list of all the things you're in, like even if it's the creatures or the weather, whatever you're doing. I want to know what you're doing.
The weather.
The weather.
Cursed
Flood.
storm.
Yeah, cursed storm. We need a real cursed storm.
Yeah. So thank you to Morla for coming on the show. That was really awesome. Thank you to everyone hanging out, listening, and shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs for supporting the shows. We appreciate it. I believe next week is going to be Firing Range. They had to postpone this week because
So awesome.
they were busy doing the Nut Bush.
They were not bushing. It does
Yeah.
get everybody.
Yeah.
Also, next week
Blame 'em.
we have True Vanguard
All
coming
right.
up.
Oh, yay.
T-Bon.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, so
T-Bon's back.
that will be a good Iron Banner chat, I'm sure. And
will be.
Meta
Are we
new
doing our
season.
GCX stream?
Yes, next week is also our GCX charity stream
What
on
day is
Wednesday.
that? Wednesday.
Wednesday
evening,
from
right?
5 p.m. It starts at 5 p.m. Pacific. And it goes till 9
There we go.
p.m. Pacific.
Going to be awesome.
So
Going to
show
be very
up for
Aussie.
some nut bushing.
Nut Bush on the GCX stream.
We
Yeah,
promise
baby.
not to rehearse.
Yeah, I promise not to even look at it till the day comes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. We will see you next week. See you Monday for SideQuest. So, bye everyone.
Yeah. Bye,
Bye.
guys.